And he was a big NRA supporter till the checks stopped coming. And then he finally said, oh, I don't support the things they've been doing after they stopped paying him. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Shooting with Yankee. As always, I'm Yankee, so let's get shooting. Today's topic is about gun channels once again. Yesterday, we talked about the cream of the crop, the good ones you should watch. Today, we're going to talk about the ones you don't think anyone should watch. You think they're just bad. Be they just bad at their jobs, don't know anything about guns. Maybe they're just not likable. And this is the place where I will say once again, my channel is not eligible for consideration here. Maybe they're shill. Maybe they're a fear monger. You know, all kinds of reasons you can hate them. Maybe they're a sellout. Maybe it's all about the money. They don't really care about the Second Amendment. You know, all kinds of reasons you can hate a channel. Maybe you just don't like their face. Let us know. I will gladly read your comments. I will start us off. And I will say, I am not a stranger to calling out channels. I've done it many times. But there are a couple channels that after meeting the guy in person and saying, wow, this guy's a fucking psycho, finding out he's an ex-cop or a current cop at the time, and a psycho, and then sitting and watching him spew misinformation, divisive bullshit, you know, politically charged crap that was untrue during the late part of the pandemic, and actually correcting him and saying, hey, that thing you're talking about, I'm standing here and what you're saying is happening is not happening. So you got some bad information. Instead of actually being a man and saying, oh, I was wrong, they double down on their rhetoric and their divisiveness, which just goes to show you they're deliberately dishonest and they're a coward because they would never come talk to me. And that's Guns and Gadgets. He is politically divisive. He's got that cop mentality. He's just a coward. You know, like most cops, he's a coward. If he doesn't got 10 other cops backing him up or doesn't have a big advantage of having a gun in his hand, he ain't got the balls to actually confront nobody, especially not when he was wrong and deliberately wrong, it turned out, because he's made a career out of that, being one of those Alex Jones types. But to this day, he's still a coward. He's still a liar, and he's divisive for the sake of being divisive. He's one of those people that wants to make money off division, and he does a good job of it. He makes a lot of money. But, you know, they did a thing where they're, ooh, look at all this money at SHOT Show, you know, because they're real proud of themselves for being profiteers. But he's just not a good guy, period. Like I said, a coward. So that's my vote right there, Guns and Gadgets. Now let's go see if anybody else has weighed in with someone they don't like. Let's go see. We got John Heasley weighing in here. Hickok 45, shill and a liar, and Mr. Guns and Fear, both liars and shills. They are. Hickok plays a character. The character he plays on the internet is nothing like what he's like. Believe me, I've been exposed to what he's really like, unfortunately, and he is an elitist that has a very poor opinion of most gun owners. And he was a big NRA supporter till the checks stopped coming. And then he finally said, oh, I don't support the things they've been doing after they stopped paying him. Paul B. Mac is the worst. Hit jobs on good guns. He does have a tendency to try to portray good guns in a bad light if they aren't, you know, giving him free guns for his store or paying him to do reviews. Dale Rick, he's all about the money. Trust me. Even, you know, I used to do handguns for heroes, and he wanted to make that national, but he wanted to do it in a way that made us a bunch of money. I'm like, well, that's not the point of a charity, to make us a bunch of money. So that's when I kind of discovered they're all about the money. That was Paul B, by the way. Dale Rickety says, God, family, and guns, and Hickok. God, family, and guns. I don't think I've ever seen a video by him, but from what people say, I don't think I would get along with him. Maybe I would. I don't know, but from what people say, I wouldn't. Plus, I don't get along with a lot of people. Whether you know that or not, I don't know. I'm not a people person. That's why I live out in the middle of nowhere. Excuse me. That's why I live out in the middle of nowhere, because I don't like people. Every time I go to town, and if there's at least a little bit of traffic, I'm like, this is why I hate people. Doesn't take a lot to set me off. Johnny Mandrick said, so many to choose from. Military Arms channel is the worst, both on and off screen, shenanigans and scams, allegedly. Yeah, shenanigans and scams, allegedly. Remember when I called them on one of their big shenanigan scams? And they're like, we're very open and we don't. I'm like, okay, answer this question. Cease and desist talking about our organization. A letter from their little lawyer that's in their group. And I'm like, no, I won't cease and desist talking about it. Sue me if you want to. Remember I showed y'all the cease and desist letter? Mike D, damn NEA guy, don't care and plays with dolls. LOL. He does play with dolls. Have you noticed that he's got a lot of dolls? That's weird. It's weird for a grown man to have that many dolls. He's fixated on them, I think. I think he's fixated on his dolls. That and he's bitches about showing up for chat. So I got to sleep. I got a job and a family to support. No one made you have a family. You find another job, get another job where you don't work while my chat's on. Where are your priorities? Edgar Cortez said military arms channel. He developed quite a reputation over time. We were pretty good friends for a while. I knew him long before he was military arms channel. I knew him when he was Sturmgewehr on the channels, on the forums. And I remember the day he told me, I'm going to go start a YouTube channel. There's lots of money in it. I'm like, I'd never heard of YouTube at the time. So I'm like, hey, great, have fun. I didn't know what YouTube was. I had no clue. I didn't even know how to spell it. I was spelling it YouTube, like a U and then tube. I didn't know you spelled it Y-O YouTube. So I had no clue what he was talking about. He was ahead of me on the game, I'll tell you that. Demo Rant and the like, promote irresponsible acts. Yes, a lot of channels do that. They're like, let's blow shit up and put ourselves at risk or other people at risk. Let's set a bad example for kids and all this other stuff. Yeah, I've never been a big fan of that. That's why I've never been a fan of Demo Rant. Plus, he was a dick when I saw him at SHOT Show. Someone was trying to give a speech on stage, and his whole thing was he was mocking them from the crowd while he was filming it for a video. And I'm like, would you please shut the fuck up? And I didn't know who he was at the time, but I figured it out. He's younger and very fit than, for a gun guy, but I didn't know who he was. He was a thick guy. I mean, I remember thinking, if we fight, this is going to be hard, but I don't remember much more about him. Gummy Wuzzle said, weapons education, a rich guy showing off. I don't even know if that's a channel anymore. Is he still a channel? I remember he sent me something wanting me to join in on some sort of group thing with him once, and I was like, eeh. I did a video mocking him once where I'm talking like, see this watch? Genuine Disney. When I had my Dumbo watch on, because he's doing that, see this watch? Rolex or something like that, like bragging about how rich he was. I'm like, I don't give a fuck how much money you got. In fact, you just spent $30,000 on a watch, just shows me you're bad with money. Go Shadow says, Detroit Urban Survival, his advice will cause death. You see, I've heard that name now a couple times over the last week. Never seen it. It's kind of like that Boda guy. I heard his name a lot of times. I've never watched his videos because from what I hear, probably not worth it. People are like, you got to go watch them and say something. I'm like, I'd rather just not watch them. Just not give him a view. But he's one of those channels that's like, all right, someone points a gun at you, you lunge and flip it around, and now you got the gun. I'm like, wow, talk about how to get shot in the face. Because all someone's got to do when you're young is put their hand out in front of your face and blam, blam, blam. I'm like, yeah, those things work great in videos where the other guy's in on it, but not so much in real life. Sean Bane says, God, family, and guns. Total fear-monger. Yeah, I don't like fear-mongering. So, don't like the fear-mongering. Just because they live a life in fear, if they're being honest. Now, a lot of the fear-mongers don't really believe the things they say. Like Alex Jones doesn't believe the things he says. Every time he gets taken to court, he says, that was just a character. I don't believe those things. They weren't said seriously. Which is true. I mean, it makes sense, but if they believe it, it's just because they live their life in fear. They think everyone else should. And I don't like that. Your life ain't that bad. It's actually pretty good. You're not in that great of danger. Actually, you're safer than you've probably ever been in history. Gummy Wuzzle said, also nothing fancy. He says Kel-Tecs are good guns. See, that's one thing I'll never forgive him for. Never forgive him for that. That's one thing I can't forgive. I just can't overlook that. I mean, you could do all kinds of bad things. I don't care, but not that. That's blasphemy. Practical Bacon says, don't know their names, but all those guys that did that roundtable chat about blood money and shit. Oh, you mean Military Arms, the Gun Collective, all those guys, and how they got, we just said the quiet part out loud. Chode was there, Iraqi veteran. So yeah, they said the part they say to themselves out loud in the chat. One of them did, and they all like, oh my God, they turned off all the chats from people like me. They blocked me because I was like, motherfucker. That was like the last straw in my relationship with any of those people. That was I don't have shit to do with any of you. Don't want shit to do with any of you. You're a bunch of profiteers making money off the gun community at the expense of the Second Amendment. So fuck all of you. I think they took that down. I don't think that's up anymore. If it is, if the comments are still there, you get to see me scream. Everything's in capital letters with like 3 exclamation points. I was so upset. Spark 68. Every channel starting every video with LARPing around fake berries, doing fake combat, BS with fake fixed enemies. James Reeves is only one example. Yeah, there's a lot of LARPing. It's gun drag. They're drag queens, but they're just gun drag queens. They enjoy it. They have fun. And I don't fault anyone for having fun. Have fun. As long as they don't act irresponsibly or anything like that. But also, they also present these fake scenarios like this is a very winnable scenario. No, that's a scenario where you get the fuck out of there. You run. That should be your first thing. That should be the first thing you tell them. If there's if there's an opening over there, well, then that's where you should be. You should be out that door. They kind of leave that part out and act like this is something you're going to win. Gummy Wuzzle once again says, Guns and Gadgets is constantly posting video titles saying how Trump has destroyed the anti-gunners once and for all. Yeah, Trump hasn't done anything about anti-gunners. He's playing a part. He's catering to the people. He's doing what YouTube tells you to do. Find out what your audience thinks and reinforce that, whether it's true or not, and keep them happy. And that's what he's doing. And plus, I think he's a liar. He's just a born liar and coward. You notice none of them will ever come on when I say, well, come on and defend what Trump's done. Nobody has yet taken up that offer. No one, not the big names, not the nobodies, not the little channels. No one has ever taken up the offer of come in and let us know what Trump has done for the gun community, because they don't have anything. Felix P says, God's guns and family is a little bit fear-mongerer. A little bit, some people are saying. I haven't seen him, so I don't know. Danny Pent, TRex Arms makes great products, and I like some of their content, but seem homophobic. And if I recall, some people on the left called some people on the left the enemy. Well, some people on the left are the enemy, I will say. That's not necessarily fear-mongering, but, there's better ways to say it, I would guess. But yeah, I had my troubles with them. Remember, I called them out on their skinny jeans, appendix carry, quick draw bullshit, and they threatened to sue me. I keep getting threatened to be sued, but they never follow through on it. God, I keep wishing, I keep hoping one of them will follow through on it. Because it ain't slander if it's true. But they never follow through on it. That little kid, he is homophobic, and he's homophobic because he's very effeminate. He acts effeminate, he dresses effeminate, so I'm sure he gets a lot of shit for it. So he has to overcompensate by being homophobic so people don't think he's a girl or gay or something. It's classic. It's how like all those anti-gay congressmen end up getting caught on Grindr or in public bathrooms blowing somebody. It's that overcompensation. Like, to make people think I'm not gay, I'm going to be the biggest anti-gay person around. Just like how all these Christian guys are getting caught now as pedophiles. And they were the biggest anti-pedophile group. That's why I always say anybody that goes around calling people pedophiles is probably a pedophile. Because most people whose brain is right don't think that other people are pedophiles, because most people aren't. The vast 99% of people aren't going to be pedophiles. It's not a normal mindset. So that isn't happening. So the very fact they go around pushing that on everybody who does something they disagree with shows that it's in their head, because they're ashamed of themselves. So they're going to push that shame off onto somebody else. So anytime people go around calling people pedophile with no proof that they've ever done anything wrong to a child, I'm like, oh, so you're a pedophile is what you're saying. The same thing with him, but he's not a pedophile. He's just very effeminate, and he doesn't want people thinking he's gay, so he has to be very homophobic. What would help is if a gay guy just knocked the shit out of him and told him to stop it. Just like, if you do that again, I'm going to hold you down on camera and fuck you. So don't do it. Yes, that's rape, but go tell someone you got raped. Go ahead, go tell them. I'll say he agreed to that if we were doing role play. Grand Thumb played Holier Than Thou. Such for being a shill. Wasn't here for yesterday, but Jared AF is a great title. Zoomer YouTuber is a great little Zoomer YouTuber. Jared AF. That's not you, is it? Because your initials are JJ. Self-promotion. I swear to God. All right, we got one more person weighing in here. I knew we'd have a bunch of people weighing in today. Heavy J is our last guy here, and he says, the Yankee Marshal always fear-mongering to save my single wide or win a silver bullet with a $5 entry. That time I won was just a coincidence. I guess you won one. I don't remember everybody wins everything. I just send them. Actually, I just order them online. The bullets, the guns, they're just sent by either Grab a Gun or Sporting Systems. Oh, shit. I've never sent out the nominees for the, I got to do that tonight. I got to send out the nominees for this month's TYM Triple P. I still haven't heard from one person from last month's TYM Triple P. I don't know what's going on. I got to check into that again, too. I sent out a second email to everybody. I haven't referred. I'm like, were they all fucking frauds? What's going on? I know one of them, some people were like, I think this one might be fake, but I'm like, well, sometimes there might be one that's fake. So far, not many, but I haven't heard from a single one of them. But that was it. That was our video for today. How about you people out there in YouTube land? What do you think is a gun channel that is either just a sellout, a shill, a fearmonger, just bad at what they do? You don't like them. Maybe they're unlikable. What do you think? What channel is it and why? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to weigh in on one of these topics in person, come to our live chats. We do them every day at 6 p.m. except for Wednesdays when we do them at 7, even though sometimes the family doesn't do his chat. So I don't know if we'll do them at 7 or not. I'm confused on that. But like I said, weigh in on the comment section below. If you want to weigh in person, come into one of our live chats, stick around for the open chat afterwards, talk about whatever you want. So thanks everybody for weighing in today. Thanks everybody who will weigh in the comment sections. Hope to see everybody again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again.